Two, two, one. Okay, we're live. This is Ted Hicks, Late Night Parents. Tonight's episode is called Too Close to the Sun. Got my guy, Mr. B, in here. Mr. B, what's going on?
Not much, man. Not much. Just here living. How you been?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. As we usually say, I'm glitching a little bit, but that's okay. Ways to follow the show, latenightparents.com. Mr. B. In pre-production, we were talking about. Oh, we got to give a few shout outs. I know we usually don't do shout outs, but I think I want to start doing shout outs. If you want to shout out anybody, you can put it in the comment section. But definitely shouting you out, Mr. B. Want to shout out Tony D, who's on his way to his family reunion.
Yes, sir.
He's on his way to his family reunion, and I know Brian just came back from business, a business trip. And then we got to shout out our usual podcasters, Fireman Rich, Nonsensical Nonsense, Sunday Night Smoke Show.
Definitely.
Shout out to T. Roney also, Glick and friends and everyone else. And also want to shout out to All About the Joy with Carmen and Rick Costa and her host of panelists that jump on and talk about all different types of topics. Also want to shout out Leggy Lady, Helen Wallace, who shouts out with her mixed shows and I don't want to butcher it. It's her weekly music show, but then she does I forgot what it's called, like a treasure. I don't know, mix. It's jukebox. Oh man, I done butchered it up. But to all the different people that we've talked to, how's our guy Mike Copenhaver?
Hey, I actually talked to him today. I talked to him. He because we've been talking DMs through Twitter. He's been all right. I had to I talked to him, and hopefully soon, because we're gonna miss out on this weekend's events. But we'll try to nab up a strong card, a strong fight night card, and get back to things, man. But yeah, he's been well though. He's been well. Just family, chilling with family and all that. Working, doing dad things, you know what I mean? Yeah, he's still out there, man. He said it's just hard, man. The economy and all that going on. And he's out there, he's out there in Simi Valley, man. He's crazy. Yeah.
Chopstick Nunchucks is in the building.
Hey.
Big Brian is in here.
Big Brian. What's going on, man? Brian, man. What's happening, man?
Brian.
Yeah, I caught this guy on the replay, man. He was on Nonsensical Nonsense the other day.
Who, Brian?
Yeah, Big Brian.
We're going to drop Brian down. No, you know what? We'll leave Brian up because once I remove him, it's like it's chaos and mayhem trying to add him back. So, he seemed like he was in the middle of something. Seems like he was in the middle of something, whether he was on an opposing stream or whatever like that. But big shout out to Brian. So, dude, we're in New York. Everyone, well, Brian's in Texas, but everyone else isn't in New York. What's going on with the weather?
Hey, what's up, Nonsensical Nonsense? Hey, this weather's been weird, man. You know, and everybody that's here on this east side here, especially in New York, awkward. We've had an on-off with rain for the past couple days, where it's rained in the morning, it's been kind of calm, and then it just picks up with rain all over again. I think the last 2-3 days we've had morning rain, which is just odd, and it doesn't even show up on the. If you go look at the weather, it doesn't even show up really, which is bonkers. It don't show up, and you're like, okay, it's a cool, calm day. You go outside, yo, what the hell is this rain doing out here? We get all these random overcasts and storms. And I'm like, man, I
It's
went
global
outside. I thought
warming.
outside was gonna be hot. It was cool outside, man. I'm like, yo, what in the world,
Did
man?
Brian just scream out global warming? Global warming doesn't exist. I guess
Yeah.
in purple states or in red states.
And the Earth is
It,
flat.
it only exists in blue
Yeah,
states.
Glick is crazy. It's crazy, man. It's been crazy. Just rain, cool weather. If it gets hot, it ends up cool again. It's like, yo, what is happening?
Yeah, it has been crazy. The whole week that I was in Birmingham, it was raining all week, but it was nice and cool. And then I come back home to Houston and it was like back to humidity, 105 plus degree weather. It's phenomenal, man. My hair loves it.
Oh my goodness. Hey, we got a
Bro.
bunch of topics to get to. I don't know where to go to first. We'll get into the comments. Glick, we were shouting you out earlier. Nonsensical
Yes,
nonsense. Also the Glick show with our guy the Glickster when he does his solo creep. We want to see more of that.
Yes, indeed.
Dude.
Man's putting off. I was gonna say, puts out full on episodes, and he got shorts. So check those.
And he
man.
got shorts.
Yes, he
Who
does.
else got shorts like that? Come on.
And he does TikTok videos dancing.
Yes, indeed.
Yo, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
We'll go to first item. I don't know your take is going to be on this. Dude, hip hop is 50 years old.
Man.
Now I know I feel old. Hip hop is 50 years old, dude.
Yeah,
Come
man.
on. Come on.
If it makes you feel any better, we're all older than WrestleMania and MTV.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And MTV.
But it's a combination of growing up in the 80s and all those, all your, I guess, your favorite stars in the 80s. Hopefully they're still around, but it's something because there were concerts everywhere. There was, especially in New York, there was an 8-hour concert put together by Mass Appeal, which is run by Nas. It's a label. They made the live stream at Yankee Stadium available for everyone, which I thought was a smart move.
Yeah.
Which I thought was a smart move. So a lot of old school, not really too much new school, but I guess I'll ask, what's your favorite hip hop artist or act or group?
Big Daddy Kane.
I've been I've liked Wu-Tang. Wu-Tang's been my group for years. You know what I mean? I loved ODB, Method Man, the RZA, the Jizza, all them folks there, man. Redman's been a fire dude. Rakim, I've loved Rakim.
Yes.
It even goes down to the old school dudes, the KRS ones. Low key, I used to be a fan of who was it? Common, Mos Def. Common and Mos Def.
Right.
Common, Mos Def. He didn't have such a long career, but Pharoah Monch, he didn't put out music like that. But I've always liked that dude. Who was it? Oh, dang, I'm trying to remember. Who's the dudes that did that joint? Hip hop, hip hop, hip hop. I'm trying to remember. Snow and Vanilla Ice. But yeah, I've liked those dudes, and I've kind of liked the Roots. I've been a fan of the Roots, old school Roots. But yeah, man. If I had to round it down to like one guy though,
Hmm.
Like seriously, where I've sat and I've listened to the music, I said, damn, this dude fire. But his career took a whole turn. It was DMX, man. I was just
Oh,
like, I love DMX, man.
love
DMX is
DMX.
cool, man.
I'll
Nah,
piggyback off of that and say I love the Locks.
Them too, yeah.
I love the Locks. I love Jadakiss. How they just remain. I mean, yeah, I know they never really, 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 really made it to mainstream, but everyone knows them.
Yeah.
Everyone
That's the
knows
thing,
them.
yeah. Yeah.
Always love KRS-One. Who else? I'm gonna call out. I love Brand Nubian. The first
Ooh.
iteration of Brand Nubian.
Okay,
I love
okay.
the first iteration of Main Source.
Oh, he gonna throw
Not not the Davy D Main
no.
Source. No, excuse me, not the Mikey D Main Source,
Okay.
but Large Professor Main Source.
Mm.
EPMD.
Oh yeah.
Long Island.
Yeah.
And of course Nas. That's Queens. So yeah, it's 50. They, like I said, a lot of different performances, a lot of wherever you can turn, it was being celebrated. And I'm like, you know what? That's good.
Yeah.
It's an art. It was something that was looked at as a flash in the pan. And shout out to PE, Public Enemy.
Public Enemy. Yeah, boy. Yeah.
Just bringing out that self-conscious rap where Murder Death Kill. When Murder Death Kill came in there and took over, and it was just like
it was like, man, we need something, to refresh what this genre of music is really about. And it was good that we got that. We got a couple of those artists, to put out good music out there. It's not all just Murder Death Kill or nowadays hoes and drugs, and you know what I mean.
How much money you rocking?
Yeah.
Or
how much ice you got?
Popping? Or what pills you popping and all that. It's not about that. No. What's crazy too? We got blessed with Somebody came out from the underworld, and he came back and he dropped us with a diss track, man, over the week too.
Melly Mel.
Yeah, man.
Melly Mel.
Oh, poor Melly Mel, man. Melly Mel came out. He said some things about some rappers and a certain rapper. This certain rapper managed to come out and sign a new artist to the label, and was featured on this young man's song, where he went after quite a couple of people, said some choice words to Melly Mel. Yep. Then Melly Mel came out with a diss track, which I don't know if it was a diss track or what, but it made you jump in your time machine right back to 1984 or back in the early 80s and just early mid 80s and just vibe with it, man. But it was not a diss track. He later apologized. He later apologized and all that. Tried to take the stuff down from his post. He tried to take down the post, but we all seen it. We all heard the diss track.
Up there, that's it.
Yeah, it's there. You put your digital footnote out there, man. That's it.
It's the minute someone could take a snapshot of it, that's it. It's over.
And it's bad, man. It's bad because people that didn't even like M came out into M's defense and said,
"Yes,
this was not what you were supposed to do, man."
No.
We even had Lord Jamar. Lord Jamar came out.
Yeah.
And defended Eminem and said this track was garbage. Man.
Lord Jamar is a 5%er.
Yes.
I guess we'll switch. Any final thoughts on Hip Hop at 50?
I mean, I'm glad to see it.
Yeah, I'm glad it made it.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
glad too,
like,
man.
yeah, growing up, I mean, like, just jamming to Bone Thugs,
Yes.
NWA,
Yes.
and then, but all the other guys, but mainly like LL is the dude.
Yes.
I was
Nas,
all, I was
Pac,
all in,
Dre.
I was all into LL then.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's there was. I mean, the greatest thing about hip hop is there was so many different flavors of hip hop. There's so
True.
many different genres.
Hey, Glick. See, I'm glad Glick brought up Tech Nine, man. Tech Nine is a dude I managed to listen to a little, I think a little before 2010 or so, something like that. Yeah,
Yes.
I listened to a couple of his tracks. Then he went independent, and he became big independent. That's when a lot of people started taking the independent route and making your albums. Don't
Right.
deal with no labels and make the what I mean, maximize on
Yeah.
the freedom of being independent.
Yes.
Yeah, so a lot of people's taking that
I
route. You know
mean,
what I mean?
the only
Music wise,
problem with the independent route is your distribution.
that's the one thing. Yeah,
That's the only thing.
yeah,
It's well now, not so much with everything,
right.
mostly being digital,
Yeah.
but back then. Hey, got a question for you. Were you guys excited or not when you heard Shannon Sharp is going to First Take? I think it was the worst kept secret.
Not surprised.
He's going there during the football season, Mondays and Tuesdays. I hope he's getting a bag.
Yeah.
Well, also too, he does his Club Shay Shay.
Yes.
Yes, he does that Club Shay Shay show. Yes, he does that podcast.
So the thing is, yeah, I mean, it's going to be a big pop for ESPN. I mean, for First Take. I mean, it depends on how he distributes the Club Shay Shay, because I think he's got like 2 million subscribers to that Club Shay
Yeah,
Shay.
he's solid. He's solid
Yeah.
with it. Yeah.
He's got 2 million subscribers.
But with him being on First Take, not surprising. I mean, because like when Stephen A. Smith discussed the whole fallout of the other show, I mean, he said, he goes, I'd love to have him on my show.
Right.
So it's kind of like almost a foreshadowing in a sense.
Right. So you think the deal was already cut?
Maybe.
It's. I mean, I think last week we heard who has a bigger impact: Richard Sherman going to Undisputed and with Skip Bayless, or Shannon Sharp going to Stephen A. Smith?
I would probably say, Shannon Sharp to First Take.
Yeah.
Because Richard Sherman really is not as well known as Shannon Sharp. Ooh, I gotta take a call. I'll be right back.
I'm not gonna lie. It kind of shocked me that Richard Sherman jumped on with Skip Bayless, considering the fact that they've had some beef some years back. He's tried to call Richard Sherman a clown and say that Sherman wasn't really one of the best, coverage players, corners, in the game. And Sherman has stats, and Sherman was one of the top players in college coming into the league, you know what I mean? So he kind of clowned this shit. He clowned the hell out of Skip Bayless a couple times they've come across on, during interviews and whatnot. And we seen Stephen A just sit there every time, this dude gets clowned, Skip Bayless. Stephen A is always in the corner and just watches. Like it's always been funny to me. But yeah, man, I was kind of surprised by that move. I guess that's to attract the viewership, because they're gonna want to know how that dynamic's gonna work. But yeah, with Shannon Sharp jumping on the ESPN, that is a bigger deal, man. You're working hand in hand with Stephen A. Smith, and those dudes, those dudes give you just total uncle vibes.
Yes.
So when they're gonna go on there, it's gonna be a wrap. And can you imagine Stephen A? Yo, I got Shannon Sharp on the Stephen A. Smith show. You know, Shannon talking about, yo, we got Stephen A. Smith on Club Shay Shay.
Right.
And you got to do, you know, little unedited interviews, you know, unfiltered
Listen,
interviews.
it's going to be good TV.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good TV.
Big TV.
I got a question for you. Is Shannon Sharp the succession plan? I don't know if you watched the TV show on HBO Max or HBO Succession. Is he the succession plan for Stephen A. Smith if he goes off and wants to do a late night show or go into politics or of the like, anything of the like? Could you see Shannon sliding into Stephen A's role 5 days a week and heading it up?
I could see that. The thing will be is that if that is the case, you gotta have to make it, because Stephen A. Smith is like the benchmark at ESPN.
Right.
You know what I mean? He's the benchmark. Regardless of what you feel about him, his takes, certain takes he has, and what he says, you know, he's the benchmark. He manages to, you know, tell you like it is. And from his viewpoint, sometimes he's been over exaggerative, but he's been that guy there. But now you're gonna fit in a guy like Shannon Sharp, who's the same way. He's not cookie cutter. He's straightforward with it. You know, he'll fit in perfectly, I think. But you got to do it because of the fans. It'll be the fan. You know what I mean? The fans.
Yes.
But I think Shannon Sharp has a fan base that is gonna love him. I think they're gonna like him a lot more than, you know, if Stephen A. Smith decides, yo, I'm hanging it up and I'm leaving. Shannon's fan base will cover Stephen A. Smith's fan base if he leaves. You know what I mean?
I think so too.
Yeah.
I just see him, if, let's just say Jimmy Kimmel says, okay, I'm done. And Stephen A. says, yo, you know what? I want to go just do this. Let me just work at ABC.
Oh, forget it.
And that opens that up. I'm just, I don't know. I don't know if there's, you know, just when these types of moves happen, there's 4 or 5 or 6 moves that
the person has ahead, yeah.
You know,
he got big plans, yeah.
He could have big plans. I had a question for you. It was really for Brian. I had one question for Brian. I know he had to drop. I might hold it off. I'm gonna go now to the B-Sides mini podcast with Mr. B. Mr. B, what's happening this weekend?
So, this weekend in combat sports, you know, last weekend we had an eventful weekend, depending on how you describe eventful. It started off, it ended good. This weekend, hopefully, we probably get the same thing. There's some boxing going on. Nothing extensively crazy, but if you're a BT Sport subscriber, or you can find a way to tune into BT Sports, there's some boxing going on. We also have the UFC event happening this weekend as well. We also got PFL. So ESPN got a little activity, but the Zone is holding it down as far as boxing goes. And as I mentioned, if you have the Zone. Yeah, if you have the Zone. So the Zone got a card. If you're going to happen to watch boxing this weekend, I recommend you go watch it if you like the upcoming stars of boxing. There's a dude that's come up from the UK, 2020 gold medalist in boxing. in the flyweight division by the name of Galal Yafai. This dude is 4-0 as a pro right now, but he won the 2020 Olympic gold medal in boxing. He's won Commonwealth gold. He's won silver medals in the Europe. I'm thinking about the Europe. Is it the Europe Games or something like that, or the UK Games? But he's won 2 silver. Yeah, I think it's 2 silvers and a gold. Yes, he won a gold in the Commonwealth. Yeah, and he won gold in 2020 Olympics. Good southpaw boxer. Check that out. The card is brought to you by Matchroom Boxing, of course. But it's gonna be in England. It'll start at 2:00 on the Zone. That's on Saturday. There's also another fight. I mentioned that joint. That's gonna be on BT Sport. If you happen to be a BT Sport subscriber, you can check that out. As 14-0, Dennis McCann fights for the vacant Intercontinental Super Welterweight title against Ilnut Baluta. There you go. Who's 16-4. Good fight there. The card is a couple of up and comers too. Some good solid talent, but young talent. There's the British featherweight title that's gonna be defended in the co-main event. Well, fought for in the co-main event by the undefeated Nathaniel Collins out of Scotland versus Raza Hamza, who's 17-1 out of the UK. We also have Raven Chapman, who is 6-0. This is the ladies. Fighting Lila Furtado, who's out of Brazil, who's 8-0 for the WBC Intercontinental Female Super Featherweight title. The rest of the card is pretty solid with a couple UK talents and whatnot. That's going to be on both of those cards. There's one fight. This one, the McCann fight. Hold on, not the McCann. Yeah, the McCann fight is going to be on. If I remember, I think this is the Friday. This is Friday's card, so you might want to check that. Hold on, let me make sure. Yeah, this is Friday, which is tomorrow, 2:30. So if you have BT Sport, you can check that out. 2:30 p.m. Pretty good card. But I mentioned young upcoming UK talent. UK boxing is pretty good. You can check that out. Along with that, there's some MMA. There's an LFA event. That's on Friday. That's about, I think, 8 or 9 o'clock Eastern on UFC Fight Pass. You can check that out. LFA 165. There's a hot prospect in the middleweight division that's going to be fighting in the main event by the name of Daniel Compton, who's 8-2. Really solid dude, man. Good wrestler, nice skills, super strong. He's going up against a dude who's 9-6 by the name of Renato Valente. Pretty okay guy. Nice talent to showcase what he's going to bring. The rest of the card is pretty solid. There's a dude who tried to get into the UFC, but he kind of lost by the name of Alan Bogoso. He's going to be trying to work his way back up and see if he can get back into the UFC as he fights 4-2 Christian Giovanni. The rest of the card is pretty solid. A couple Brazilian talents, local talents, and big namers. Some guys making some debuts. Nothing crazy, but you can check that out if you want to. You know what I mean? PFL got an event. PFL 8. That's going to be the semifinals for the women's featherweight tournament, which has kind of been, it's kind of been without Kayla Harrison fighting in the tournament. It's been kind of I ain't gonna lie. Kind of miss Kayla. I miss Kayla. No fighting in the PFL is kind of whack. But you also got the heavyweights that they'll be fighting in the semifinals. There's going to be some talents that are going to be showcased on the card in the prelims. Kaylin Neal, who was on the Ultimate Fighter during the Juliana Pena, Amanda Nunes season. She's going to be fighting on the card. Satoshi Ishii, who was a gold medalist in wrestling in the Olympics a few years back. He's showing up back to the organization to fight. So we have in the semifinals Marina Makhnatkina, who's a 7-time Sambo champion specialist, fighting Amber Leibrock, who shown up, managed to get this far in the tournament, took a hard loss against Larissa Pacheco, but is looking to bounce back and try to get into the finals. It was a good matchup. Denis Goltsov, who's made it so close to being in the finals, but always loses. He's going to be fighting the fill-in by the name of Jordan Heiderman, who tried out for the same season, the Juliana Pena, Amanda Nunes season of The Ultimate Fighter, and he kind of got pretty far, but then he got eliminated. He's come in to fill in for a spot, and now he has an opportunity to make it to the finals and possibly win $1 million. Good wrestler, good collegiate wrestler, has improved a little bit on the striking. We'll see how that works. Larissa Pacheco, who's been last year's lightweight champion, is showing up here in the semifinals. So far, so good. The jiu-jitsu blend with improved wrestling and her heavy hands. She's improved her striking so much, yo. Just really impressive. She's fighting Olena Kolesnik, who's 9-5 out of the Ukraine. She's looked good so far. She did miss weight for this fight, so she'll be giving up 20% of her purse. If this was based on points, she'd lose a point for missing weight. But since it's the semifinals, all you got to do is win and you're in. We'll see how it turns out. And Renan Ferreira, who's done good so far, is fighting Maurice Green. Maurice Green was on a season of The Ultimate Fighter. He fought for the UFC for a couple fights. Training partner of John Jones, trained to Jackson Wink. The UFC cut him. He came into the PFL. So far, so good. He's in the semifinals here. If he could win, he makes it to the finals. Let's go. But you're not here to hear me talk about all that nonsense, Ted. You asked me for a mission. Here we go. UFC 292. Aljamain Sterling, your current and reigning bantamweight champion, undisputed UFC bantamweight champion, faces the number 2 guy who has came out from out the blue, making his debut back in 2017. Actually, no, he fought for his contract in 2017 and won it on the first ever seasons of the Contender Series. That's also brought to you by Snoopcast. If you ever caught the Snoopcast version of it, I recommend you try to get that if you can, because they did the two. They had the regular commentators, then they had Uriah Faber and Snoop Dogg doing Snoopcast. That's why Snoop got fired after the first season, because he was saying some things about the fighters. He'd be like, "Oh my God, that sucker got his, he got whooped." Explicitives. There's a lot of explicitives. Plus, you gotta understand, they were sipping on some Old Bay gin and juice. They were literally drinking gin and juice. Getting turned up while watching the fights. And he was just being like how we all are when we watch fights.
Right.
You know what I mean? And some fighters took offense to it, so they had to let him go. But I think he's invested in the UFC. So he's been there, and he's done voiceovers for some of the video games. Okay. Yo, what up, Tony D? What up, dude? How you doing? Tony D in the chat.
Tony D
in the chat. Yo. But yeah, man. He's managed to show up. He's won a lot of fights. He's lost one, but he's managed to bounce back from that loss. And he's going to be fighting for the title this Saturday, live in Boston, man. Boston, Massachusetts. Yes, sir. This is a 12-fight card. 6 of these fights will be on the prelims starting at 6:30. If you got a UFC Fight Pass account, you can catch those early prelims. If you got an ESPN Plus account, you could definitely catch that, man. Oh, my God. Hold on, Brian. I'm going to get to that real quick.
Brian has a comment, and it says, thoughts on the Power Slap League?
I didn't even touch on that during my B-sides,
Okay.
But I'll touch on it for like a good 2-3 minutes though.
Okay.
But yo, the prelims are gonna start at 6:30. So the card technically starts at 6:30. Everybody never tunes into the prelims and watch the main card. No, watch the damn prelims. You know what I'm mad about? People buy tickets to these events
and don't even
and
show
really
up.
miss out. Yeah, and don't show up till the main card starts. Are you stupid? Are you stupid? Man, the prelims have so much action. But yo, there's a lot of fights. There's 6 fights on the prelims. Not even 6 fights, 7 fights they're gonna stuff on the prelims because they usually put 5 fights on the main card. And yes, they did it again. But yeah, man. Keynotes to take in this prelim portion of the card. The Ultimate Fighter finalist. That the season was this year. The final episode was on Tuesday. So the finalist, Cody Gibson, faces Brad Katona. Brad Katona's out of Conor McGregor's camp. Yo, what up, Jason? We got
West.
Mr. Jaw West. Yeah, Brad Katona, who trained with McGregor, SBG Ireland. He's fighting Cody Gibson. Gibson made it. Gibson was in the Ultimate Fighter. I mean, the UFC. He got cut. He came back during this season of Tough, and he won his way back. Injury and all, he kind of had a partial tear in his MCL, I think, if I remember correctly, in his left knee, but managed to work through it. He picked up the win. So they'll fight for a contract, and Austin Hubbard and Kurt Hallbaugh, who both fought in the UFC, both got released. They kind of came back. Hallbaugh had come back, but then he got released. So now he's going to be back here fighting Austin Hubbard in lightweight for the contract. More than likely, though, I think they'll all probably get picked back up again. But, UFC wants to make things dramatic. What other? Oh, yeah. Your boy, man. Long Island owned, man. Chris Weidman. The man who beat Anderson Silva twice.
Yes.
The Brazilian killer. Chris Weidman returns. He was supposed to come back a little while back. He had he had an infection in the leg, I think. So he was healing. Then he had the infection. Then he came back. This is the first time I'll be rooting for a double KO in the main event. Can't stop. Jason, you a trip. Look at this dude. But yo, Weidman comes back, man. We know decorated wrestler, trains with Matt Serra and Ray Longo out in Long Island. Super solid, man. We seen him. We doubted him, and he ended the streak of Anderson Silva.
Yep.
Then they fought again, and he checked the kick, and Anderson Silva broke his leg.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And the last time we seen Chris Weidman, unfortunately, the same thing happened to him. He threw a kick. The kick got checked, and he broke his leg. But he's come back, and he's fighting a good test, man. A guy who's been in the UFC for about 12 or so years. And Brad Tavares, man. Brad Tavares, longtime member of Extreme Couture, another Hawaiian. He's been up and down the road in the middleweight division, but solid talent, man. Solid talent. He came in his early 20s. So now he's about 34, 35, I think. So 35, 36-ish, yeah. But yeah, solid talent. 2 vets gonna go at in the prelims. So I'm happy for that. We got Marlon Vera versus Pedro Munoz in the main card. Marlon Vera versus Pedro Munoz. These 2 dudes have been climbing, to say the least. Marlon Vera was on a hot streak. It got derailed. Unfortunately, it got derailed by Corey Sandhagen, if I remember correctly. So he's coming back, number 6 in the bantamweight division, facing number 10, Pedro Munoz. Pedro Munoz is the guy who knocked out Cody Garbrandt about 2 fights after Cody lost his title. Had crazy momentum and then lost it all pretty much. Took some weird losses, looked clueless in fights. He's looking to get a win here. We'll see how he does. We also got Mario Batista in an interesting bantamweight bout because he was supposed to face that same guy, Cody Garbrandt. Cody Garbrandt got injured, so he pulled out this fight. And a guy that we seen fight last weekend, last Saturday, is going to be fighting this Saturday on the main card portion as Damon Blackshear comes out of nowhere with the third ever twister submission in UFC history. Comes in here on late notice, riding that momentum to fight this guy, Mario Batista. Now, Mario Batista is no joke, no slouch. Takedown defense is pretty solid. His striking is ill. But Blackshear may have the recipe with that wrestling and jiu-jitsu mix. And his strikes, while he doesn't have a crazy level of volume, pretty damn effective. And his ground and pound, you don't want to deal with that. So, good matchup there. We have Neil Magny. This is one of Jason's favorite fighters, Neil Magny, at number 11. Signed to fight to get a fight. He signed to get a fight, and they put him on the main card here. He's facing number 13, Ian Machado Gary. Now, for folks that don't know Ian Machado Gary, because he got married, so, you know, they do the sharing of the last names. Coming from Cage Warriors. He was the Cage Warriors welterweight champion, got called into the UFC. He's from Ireland. He carries that same Conor McGregor wave. He's a young guy, but he's not a goofy guy. He's a very smart guy. And so far, so good as far as these fights have gone. His skills have developed quite a bit better. He's been more comfortable, and that's led to a lot of finishes. The last 3 fights he's had as finishes. And the last guy he beat was a tough SOB in Daniel Rodriguez. He finished Daniel Rodriguez in under 2 minutes, if I remember correctly. Under 2 minutes. Nasty. But yeah, man, Machado offers crazy footwork, a really solid kickboxing game. But we haven't seen his jiu-jitsu, but his jiu-jitsu's good. But we haven't seen it in the UFC yet. But if there's anybody who's frustrating and could take your hype right away from you in such a boring manner, it'd be Neil Magny. So we're going to see if he could pass this test. He passes this test, he's ready for top 10 ranking fights. We also have the co-main event. Long live, what is it? We got, what is it? What is it in China? It's capitalism, right? What China lives under? What China live under? Communism. There you go. Long live the. There you go. Why I say capitalism? I know it's the other C. There you go. Weilei Zhang, out of China. There you go. Long live communism. There you go. I don't want to say that because, you know, I would say the other thing, but that's disrespectful. Yes. But yeah. Strong champion is Weilei Zhang. She just won the title from Carla Esparza, who was the first ever strawweight champion. She's being a litmus of who's who. She's only had, if I remember, 3 losses. Her original loss in her debut and 2 losses to Rose Namajunas, which is crazy that you could think about that off the top of your head. She's facing number 5, Amanda Lemos. Now, Lemos debuted in the UFC as a bantamweight, a 135er. She ended up cutting down to being a 120, hopping between 125 and 115. She found her piece in 115, which is strawweight. Now, Tulsi Gabbard's favorite fighter. That's correct. That is correct. Tulsi actually managed to help Weilei Zhang travel to the States. Really? Because Weilei had traveling issues, and Tulsi Gabbard traveled out there to sort out her papers, to sort out her work, and help her get back to the States. And she managed to get to the States and win that title. Crazy, right? Yeah, that happened. So yeah, really amazing story. You got to check that out when you get free time. But yeah, she's facing Amanda Lemos. Now, as I mentioned, Amanda Lemos been dancing through the divisions. She's managed to find her piece at strawweight. She is a huge strawweight. Nothing she throws is light. Everything comes with a thud. Everything comes with a smack. And if you're not careful, you're going to sleep. Problem is, if you could get her through the first round, things get rocky. She carries big power, but her gas tank is somewhat questionable. And this will be the first time she's in a 5-round fight where if she ends up being stuck in the 3rd round or so, we may see trouble for her. But big power, crazy good jiu-jitsu skills. We'll see how it rounds up if Weili could take that force, or will Weili bring her own force? Because Weili is a multiple-time kickboxing champion. She's won titles in MMA and other organizations. She's also a Sanshou champion, which is Sanshou karate. Is like a kickboxing, is a kicking base. Former fighter Kung Lee was like a big time champion in that, where all the kicks are like you're kicking through rocks and boards and crazy stuff like that. Yeah, but good joint. And then we have that main event where Aljamain Sterling, Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley got a big hype train behind them, man. Everybody's going with Sean O'Malley. And Aljamain Sterling, 9-fight win streak, current champ, a.k.a. the backpack kid, because when he gets on your back with the jiu-jitsu, it's problems. That kid is pretty big. He's solid. He's a Division 3 wrestler. And he also has that Serra Longo, that's Mass Serra Jiu-Jitsu. He's a black belt Jiu-Jitsu practitioner. Sean O'Malley, I forget if Sean O'Malley's a brown belt. I forget what weight belt class is Sean O'Malley. But I know the guy that actually gave Sean O'Malley his belt, Aljamain Sterling beat him earlier in his career, which is kind of funny. But so far, Sterling's beating a lot of guys, man. He beat Peter Yan, former champion, Henry Cejudo. He just won against him in the with a split decision. Very eventful fight. He beat TJ Dillashaw. Sean got good stand-up, but we got to see if he has an all-around game. We haven't had those questions answered yet. And hopefully we will on Saturday. But that's going to be the cards to watch. Good stuff happening. KSW's on Saturday, too. It's an early card. It starts around 1 if you want to catch that. Because I know Ted, he began me to try to watch it. And no disrespect. I do watch it. I watch it, but I watch for key people on the card.
Got it.
Not that I don't want to watch it. I watch for key people on the card. The card looks to be very entertaining, so I'll peek into it because it's going to be earlier before that card. So we'll probably watch a couple of them joints, But yeah, that's all, man.
All right. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to have this.
Hold on. One second. Brian was talking about that damn power slap. Power slap.
Right.
So,
right.
Power slap. If you're trying to catch power slap people, catch it on Rumble. It's free. The whole events are there. It's a bunch of people slapping each other, man. There were some good KOs. The guy who was like the first light heavyweight champ in power slap, he got KO'd unconscious his last fight. That was pretty crazy. There was a couple other dudes that got slapped into a multiverse. There was a dude who got slapped so bad, he did a full 180 turn that went with the slap. His whole body went with the slap. And then he dropped. He tried to get back up, and this man was still in La La Land. There was a 300-plus pound dude who got slapped stiff. That was crazy. And, if you guys, dudes, men, if you lose focus, just remember Charlie Arnold does the interviews there. And Charlie Arnold, that lady, she's fine. That's all. I'm not getting in depth. That's it. That's all I got to say about power slap.
quickly go
Oh man,
into
this.
Michael Oher and The Blind Side. It seems like The
Yes.
Blind Side is being rewritten as we are living in a very strange world.
Yes, indeed.
Blind Side itself, Mr. B, made $300 million.
Yes.
Super hit.
Yes.
Great
I
feel-good
remember.
story.
I went to watch that, man.
A
It's a real
lot
good
of us
movie.
went to watch it, purchased the DVD, the Blu-rays when they came out, or ordered it through our, subscription service.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a different story that's come out, and the only thing I'm going to say to you, Mr. B, why is this coming out now? I mean, I know the former NFL offensive lineman Michael Oher has a new book coming out, but the whole conservatorship and the amount of money he made from the movie, and whether or not the family, the Tuohys, adopted him or they didn't adopt him, and it's just crazy.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, that is kind of mad. That's kind of mad. First, there's a couple things we got to think about when we're hearing this. As you said, why is this coming out now?
Right.
This man is how old you said? 37?
37.
37 years old.
He's done
Finding
with
out
the
about your
NFL. He's done.
conservatorship, finding out that adoption or conservatorship should have been done before you hit your 30s. Maybe some of the things were hidden from him. I don't know, but at some point, you're supposed to find out about these things, even if
Right.
it comes down to your contract when you going in the NFL.
Right.
You're supposed to find out about those types of things are gonna affect your pay when you get into the NBA.
Right.
Not the NBA, the NFL. The
NFL.
NFL, my fault. Yeah, the conservatorship, that's gonna interact with your pay. If you get signed on a contract where I'm getting paid so and so on a team for a year or whatever, you making this type of money every year. Ain't you gonna be seeing those? You know what I mean? You're gonna see that. You're gonna see that in some way, shape, or form. You're gonna see that. You're gonna see if that conservatorship is gonna affect your money, how much you're
Right.
getting paid, if that money's making it to your hand, and all that. He didn't have an agent. You know what I mean? Like, what's going on here? You know,
I think he's written 2 books or collaborated with authors to help him write 2 books. I don't think he agreed to how he was portrayed in the movie.
that
like,
too.
you know,
That's yeah.
Kind of like unintelligent.
Yeah, but I try to figure that one out too, man. You seen the movie? Why
Yes.
you ain't say nothing? Like, it's many questions we gotta ask ourselves, man. There's questions you gotta ask yourself, and maybe he thought he took it light. Maybe, he's playing in the NFL. He's probably not looking at it that way. But then, if you're not looking at it that way, you managed to mention that people on the field are looking at you, thinking that your performance out there wasn't all that good. Oh, word, Tony D. R.I.P. Magoo. Word, Magoo did pass away.
Oh man.
It's a little while ago. Yeah, some days ago. Yeah, it came out that he passed away. One half of Timberland and Magoo.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, man. It's just weird. There's a lot of weird pieces out here, man. That it just don't make sense. It just don't link up.
I mean, it's without us digging into the lawsuits, the 14-page petition, and everything else, and without us being legal attorneys.
Yes.
There was some bad behavior on both sides of this.
Yeah.
Because
I agree with that.
if he's 37 years old and you still have control over how he conducts his business, and then the flip side for Mike is, I'm sure this could have been handled behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm. And a lot sooner.
And a lot sooner. Almost 40 years old.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, man.
it's like we're when we hear conservatorship, we think of Britney Spears.
Yeah. Correct.
We think of
Correct.
that.
And you're talking about, they adopted you. You're not looking at this stuff and
You're not looking
trying
at the
to piece
paperwork.
things together. At some point in your life, you're gonna look and ask questions. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You didn't do none of that, and you continue to grow up older, and you're not doing any of that. You're not looking. You're not even
Yeah.
saying to yourself like, "Yo, I got adopted."
Right.
Where my past parents at? You know what I mean? Who you adopted me from? This stuff and that stuff, and then find out, yo, you didn't get adopted. It was a conservatorship.
Wow.
That's the craziest thing that he came out and said. And it's like, yo, if that's the case, we got questions to ask on both ends.
Yes.
On both ends. Like what these people were thinking about. Well, what were you doing while you were playing football, man? You didn't have nobody
9
financially to tell you. Yeah,
Mr. B, you played 9 seasons.
no financial advisor, no life advisor to tell you, like, hey, bro, maybe you should check this out. Maybe you should look into, you know what I mean, your birth history. Maybe you should look into these things. Where's this money going to? Where is this money put into?
Where is this going to?
And they made a movie based on you. They made a movie based on you, and you didn't get your share of that?
Mr. B, why is Sandra Bullock getting dragged into this now?
I don't know. And I watched that movie mainly for her. I'm sorry to sound that way, but I did. That's not her fault. She's an actress.
She's an actress.
She thought
that's
what was happening. She thought that's what was happening. When actors and actresses portray these roles, they don't know what's happening. They listening based on whoever the movie's based on. And if it's based on those people, the Toolies or Toolies, whatever,
right?
That's where she's getting the info from.
Oh my goodness!
She's getting the info from them parents.
Getting dragged.
That's not her fault. That's not her fault. And all this gap in between for people to now say, "Yo, this is what happened to me." No, no.
So, I'm hearing, and I mean, this is from. Spend a few minutes.
I could get ignorant about people trying to bark at Sandra Bullock, but I'm not, because this is on you. This is what you. This is on your show. I could get ignorant, but I'm not. I'm not.
I'm hearing the Toolies are well off. They own fast food restaurants and all this other stuff. So I think, Joe, if I'm not mistaken, the paper was already there.
The money's there.
The money was already there.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Like
they got paid off the movie, and then they had a percentage of proceeds.
Right.
So they were making. Whew.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And the son and the daughter were making money off of this too.
Yes.
So
I was like, crazy. It's crazy. It's a mess.
Painful.
It's a mess.
It's painful, and you think about this now, and I'm just like, oh my goodness.
I can't deal.
I got a question for you. I wanted to have Brian on here.
Oh man, this would be a perfect person to ask Brian.
Brian would be perfect for this. We'll do it again next week. Is Disney dying? You remember when everything was a hit? You remember every movie they dropped, whether it was animated movie, live action movie, you name it, was like, if it wasn't $1 billion, it was close to it.
Yeah. Original idea movies,
Original idea. I think you just said you said the
keywords,
Keywords. You solved the problem. Original idea, not a refresh. I mean, not just hey. I mean, are we okay with saying Disney destroy Star Wars?
Damn, I really. That's a hard thing to say.
It is, isn't
That's
it?
hard. That sounds so cruel and hurtful.
I
to say.
know.
But thank God I'm here, because I'll say it did. It did, damn it. While it had some of its key points, Star Wars wise, Star Wars has had its come on, it started off strong. It started
Yeah.
off very strong. George Lucas and that whole team really pushed the envelope for Star Wars for quite many years, many years. Even when we're talking about, episode the Phantom Menace,
Yes.
and and those three, Anakin becoming evil and all that, we were fine with those.
Right.
Different turn, but we were fine with those.
Right.
Those little prequels we had, pretty much.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
1, 2, and 3.
But the
We were
sequels?
fine with those prequels. I kind
Oh
of
no, but I said, but the sequels, the
Oh.
last three,
the last 3. That's the problem.
that last
That's
one
what we
was
had.
garbage.
As in the words of our boy Brian,
Right.
go woke, go broke.
Ah.
These things happen, and
Oh.
that's what happened. You changed the main characters. You changed a lot of things. There were many questions we asked ourselves. What the hell these people have to do with the story of Star Wars? What's this going on? Why is the main character not the main character we expected? Luke Skywalker came on and was like, yo, what, Luke? A lot of good things Disney had in his hands. They just ruined it for equal opportunity. I like to call it pandering, and all this other mix-up stuff, just for the sake of saying, hey, we're looking at things through a different microscope now, and we're doing things for the people. No, shut up. We didn't ask for this. We didn't ask for that. Y'all making unnecessary moves for things that we've just come to say, like, yo, we like this. And then you change it, think you're doing the favor. And some people, they're like, hey, it's not a real character. It's a fictional character. What makes it a big deal? What's the big deal about it? Go ask Disney what's the big deal about it. They've lost over 800 million. They're losing billions.
Yes.
Disney Plus subscribers have fell in the millions. They've lost over 11 million subscribers to Disney Plus. Mind you, Disney Plus picked up so many subscribers before that.
Yes.
And they're losing subscribers by the millions. Nothing's original.
Nothing's original.
Everything's the same thing. It's like, come on now. Come on. Y'all have the Snow White movie that's coming out. Snow White. And we know them with Snow White, 7 dwarfs. There's no dwarfs. There's a short person, probably a midget, not a dwarf, and a whole bunch of regular-sized people. Multi-race, multi-ethnic bunch of people. And a Snow White that doesn't even like the Snow White movie. What the hell is going on? A Snow White.
I'm going to stop right here because I want to do this topic justice with Brian. Because I'm telling you, they took something that's good. They took something that's really, really good.
Yeah.
And it just seems like Disney puts their hands on this stuff, and then next thing you know, none of their. I mean, I guess it's comic book fatigue. Also, we've seen all the A-list comic book heroes, so now we're seeing the B, C, and D, like the deep cuts.
Yeah. Oh, that's a whole nother thing too.
It's a whole other thing.
Marvel and Disney and Marvel.
Yes.
I don't even. Yeah.
Yes, I don't want to touch it now.
That's
I want to go into deepfakes. So I'm gonna go. I want to ask you a couple of questions, Joe.
Hello, Carmen. How you doing?
Hey, Carmen, how you doing?
We got Rick in here too.
Rick, how you
What's
doing?
up, Rick?
Let's see. Question for Joe. We produced this article a few years ago, September 10th, 2020. Can you spot a deep fake, Joe? Excuse me, Mr. B.
Either or.
So a few years ago, Microsoft Video Authenticator came out. It's a tool that can assess the likelihood that a video is fake. And, so just in case you've been under a rock, deepfakes are fake videos and media created by AI. These videos superimpose a person's face onto another person's body or create a completely fake video of a person from scratch. Deepfakes have extended to audio and the ability to create statements using a person's voice. So we've seen all along former President Obama.
Yes.
There's that video that with from years ago. We won't go into that. So I don't want to get banned. But you go to the website, thispersondoesnotexist.com. You click on it. Now, each time I refresh, there's a different computer-generated image. Guess what? These people don't exist. These are all artificial intelligence.
Wow. That's what people have been managing to do, man. They've managed to do that to scam people and do other nonsense. This deepfake thing has gotten crazy. This deepfake thing, it's been funny in some cases, but it's gotten real scary, real creepy. We're talking about people managing to work their way into taking your identity and doing a whole lot of weirdness. Yeah. We're using deepfakes to catfish people. We're using deepfakes. Yo, people have managed to use deepfakes for adult content, man.
Yeah.
It's getting out of hand.
Are you seeing all these images?
It's getting out of hand.
You seeing all these different images?
Yeah. And all you need to do is just take a little bit of somebody's face. Boom.
Okay.
And some of them, they blend them really well. Some of them you could look and see, and some of them they blend well. It's sick. It's crazy.
Can you, Joe? This is usually where we would ask the question to Tony. I can't see the comments right now. A deepfake quiz. Can you spot one? So while this quiz is aimed at the folks in America, anyone can take this test. So Microsoft made this quiz available. And I'm gonna go to
Carmen's talking about the Tom Cruise deepfakes.
Yes.
I've seen a couple of those, yeah.
Okay, spotting deepfakes. Are you able to see the screen?
For me?
Yes.
I'm right here. Yep. Spotting
Okay.
deepfakes isn't as easy as you might think.
Okay. So what if I told you the first manned mission to the moon ended in a disaster instead of success? What if President Nixon himself told you? Would you believe it? I'm confused if this is real. We're going to start right here. What is a deepfake? We've already gone through that. It's a photo, it's a video, it's an audio track. Where else do you think you've seen deepfakes before? Check all that apply. Movies, voice assistants, social media. I don't think I've ever seen it. Great job. Actually, all these answers are deepfakes. Deepfake technologies enabled important advances in artistic expression, filmmaking, which is a huge problem, which is a part of the reason why there's a strike going on, education, accessibility, and even historical or forensic recreation. However, as we see it, this technology can be used to mislead, misinform, or cause harm.
Mhm.
Joe, deepfakes can come in many forms. What forms can they take? Photo, video, audio, or all the above?
From what we've seen nowadays, I think it's like all the above. Because don't they have AI deepfakes now?
Right, correct. It's all the
Uh,
above. What are the terms? They're specifically created to using artificial intelligence. So, however, we may heard the term cheap fake, shallow fake to describe other types of manipulation. Which of the following examples are cheap fakes? Slowing down a video, enhancing a color, replacing audio, editing out an important section of the video.
a cheap fake.
A cheap fake.
I say enhancing color. Um, Slowing down the video, probably editing out the important section of a video. I would consider that.
Okay.
Oh,
Cheap fake is relatively new, but editing photos, videos, and audio is not. It's probably just showing a certain part
what?
of a specific video. Do you think you can spot a deep fake? Which one is real and which one is the deep fake? Photo A or photo B?
Let
Photo
me see.
A or photo B? A or B?
Damn, that's tough. I'm gonna take A. I think A. What do you think?
I'm going to say A because I can see this is a little warped right here. I'm going to go for A. Correct.
There you go.
Are you up for the challenge? Don't be discouraged if this is hard.
Better character development, I think. I think it's good for that. Helps to take the storyline to the next day as well. So it's good for writers. Probably
Or B.
better character development, I think. I think it's good for that. Helps to take the storyline to the next day as well. So it's good for writers. Probably
I wouldn't even know which one to choose.
Play the first one again.
better character development, I think. I think it's good for that. Helps to take the storyline to the next day as well. So it's good for writers. Probably
Play B now.
better character development, I think. I think it's good for that. Helps to take the storyline to the next day as well. So it's good for writers. Probably
That's crazy. But I think B. I might be wrong.
B is real or A is real?
B is real.
Well done. You know, it's
the way it looks. It's tough. It's tough,
It
but
is
it's the way the
tough.
video looks.
it is
It's the way
tough.
the video looks.
We'll do
The way to tell that one,
I'm urging all Labour
if
members.
you watch video games enough. Oh, it was A. I mean, B was real. B was
B
real,
was
Carmen.
real.
and supporters to consider people before privilege and back Boris Johnson to continue as our Prime Minister. A Prime Minister that works for the many and not the few.
That was okay. I'm gonna say video A because Not quite. Oh, not this guy, Boris Johnson.
Just been to see Her Majesty the Queen earlier on, and she agreed to dissolve Parliament for an election. And I want you to know, of course, that I don't want an early election. No one much wants to have an election in December, but we've got to the stage where we have no choice.
I think that's real.
Nicely done. So is trust enough? Imagine a person who stays up to date on current events through news sources they trust. What can they do to minimize the negative impact of deepfakes? Do we even trust the news anymore?
We don't trust the news no more because we already understand that the news will perpetuate a narrative to have people still running amok and causing mayhem. You know what I mean? We've seen it. We've seen people leave these news stations or whatever, whatnot. We get our information just by looking and researching ourselves, man.
So what can they do to minimize negative impact of deepfakes? Only believe stories that come from sources they trust. Don't share or watch shared videos on social media. I think we might be onto something there in number 2.
Yeah,
Don't believe any news that comes from a biased source.
that's very true.
Think about the broader context of media they see. Which one would you choose? I'm gonna go with A. Are you okay with A, or you're not sure? I'll go out on a limb. Or do we go with D? Think about the broader context of media they see.
I think it probably come from either A or C. The first one or the third one.
Okay, we'll go for C. It says not exactly. Advances in technology have made deepfakes very hard to identify. Relying on trusted news sources is a great start, but don't forget to apply your own critical thinking.
Yeah, does this
Does
look
this
right?
look right? Reasonable doubt.
There you go.
Imagine you come across a photo or a video and you've never seen before. What cues should prompt you to think more critically about the context of the photo and video? You experience a strong emotional response or gut reaction, outrage or extreme validation. You notice words or actions inconsistent with what you know of a person or organization, or overall things seem too good, too bad, or too outlandish to be true. What do you say, Mr. B? I can't see anyone's comments, so I will read the comments right after this. Any take on it?
Let me read this real quick. Hold on.
Yeah.
Experience is strong. Imagine you came across a photo that you have never seen before.
So
What cues should
imagine.
prompt you to think more critically about the context of the picture? You experience a strong emotional response or gut reaction, outrage or extreme validation. You notice words or action inconsistent with what you know of a person or organization. Overall, things seem too good, too bad, or too outlandish to be true. Damn. Sometimes I have one, I have the other, and sometimes I have both. Because sometimes you look at a picture, you're like, "What the hell is this?" And then you laugh, and you're like, "Nah, man, this ain't real. This can't be real." You know what I mean?
I went with B.
You know what
Actually
B?
thinking these things, you should take a closer look. Creators of manipulative deepfakes and other media often try to trigger people to think with their heart instead of
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of an overall thing. Yeah.
One of the best things to do. Go ahead, Mr. B.
Yeah, it's monitor how you're responding emotionally to a video or photo And if you have a strong response, ask yourself why the creator of that media might want you to feel that way. That's very true. That's how a lot of things have happened nowadays. Don't you see sometimes they post things or
Yeah.
they or people put news articles and people
Yes.
get upset, and then when they find out the truth, then they're like, oh my God, you know what I mean? So in a way it's kind of a mix of, you gotta think, but sometimes like the response, you gotta, when people get emotional, that's when you're blind. You're officially blind because you get emotional to it. You don't want to hear nothing. It just got you in your feelings, and that's it. You're just gonna respond emotionally. That's it. It's over. Nobody's gonna tell you nothing. You're not
When
even gonna
you
try to
come,
sit back and listen.
when you come across, so what can you do when you come across a potential deep fake? And the first thing you should do is stop and think. What are the potential next steps you should take? Shrug and accept you're helpless and can't trust anything anymore, Brian. Share on social media anyway? No. Compare the media to other reports. Share on social media stating that it's a fake. Why, if it's a fake, why would you share it on social media?
People do that. You see Twitter.
Oh God.
Exactly. People would take one thing and they run with it. They run blind with it. That's always something, man. I take it and compare it to something, to the media, to other reports. That's what I always do. I do that with
Perfect.
MMA. Yeah, you always do that because that's what you do, and make logic of stuff, not just get upset. There you go.
And that's our
Deep fakes
take.
are a creepy thing, man.
Deep
Be
fakes
careful,
are.
everybody.
Oh my goodness.
'Cause
Carmen,
they can
thank
take your
you
photo and
for-
make a deep fake out of it.
Yes.
They take your regular photo. You're not even moving your mouth, and they turn that into a whole
Yes.
moving
This
object, and all
this
that.
live stream itself could be your next deep fake.
Word, man.
And don't share videos on social.
No, never want to do that. Never.
B,
Never ever want to do that. Do that, but be careful. Be careful.
Mr. B, what are we doing right now?
What are we doing right now?
What are we
What are we
doing
doing?
right now?
What are we doing, man?
Oh my
I tell you.
goodness.
The world's a trip.
Yeah,
You gotta try to.
the world's a trip. We don't trust anything or anyone.
So much craziness happening in this world, man.
Yeah.
I gotta touch on your president real quick. I gotta talk about your president.
Okay.
He's my president too, so I gotta say our president. They have the situation going on in Maui, and so I heard that he's going out there and he's giving what is it? He's
Homeowners.
giving out
He's doing something for homeowners.
yeah, for people that for the survivors or whatever, the families.
Yes.
So what I've heard, I haven't ran with this yet, but supposedly he's giving away like $700 to each of the families out there, in Maui there.
Okay.
People lost their homes. I don't know how much that's gonna help. What's that gonna do? But considering what's going on in the world right now, probably do a lot more for those folks out there in Maui, man.
Yeah, that's a tough situation. That's tough because if you've lost your home or if you're in a situation like that, you could see where the heart is, where they're offering something, but $700. So if you're home, let's just say, okay, we know the prices of homes nowadays. Let's just say you got a $500,000 home.
Yeah.
Does the 700 hold you over? It's an attempt to hold you over until help comes. I mean, I haven't been following that story too close. Is FEMA there?
when I picked up, man, they've been having some people being rescued. There's some people that are still like chilling waterside, you know, in the ocean. When the thing happened, people really moved and hid in the ocean to stay safe, which is kind of crazy to hear. But yeah, there's videos of people that were in the ocean. I think they've gotten some rescuers. They've gotten some people. They managed to rescue quite a number of people. There's still some people that haven't been found yet. Exactly. That's exactly, Rick. I don't understand. And we're living here where our president is currently giving billions of dollars to, you know, the folks still. And I don't know. I don't know what's going on. It's worrisome when you think about the people who need the help and they're being overlooked by a bunch of other people who are getting a massive hand to help. You know what I mean? It's stressful. It's very stressful to watch and see, man. I know Floyd Mayweather has gone out his way to go and provide help for about 70 families out there. Somewhat I've heard, providing food and clothes and a lot of other stuff there. So even though some people don't like the man, clap it up for Floyd. Floyd's trying to do what he can for the people out there too.
Floyd.
Floyd Mayweather. But it's a crazy situation out there, man.
It is.
I didn't even touch on it. I didn't even touch on this, but I managed to visit a spot. I gotta talk to y'all about that separately, but I managed to see it for myself this week. There was one thing I forgot to mention, but I'll talk about it off air. But
all right,
it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. I got to see it. I didn't take no pictures, but I got to see it. It's kind of wild.
You tell us about that. I'll be back in 1 second.
All right. But yeah, man. I think I can talk to y'all about it. It's actually over here in a spot called the Row. Here in New York, where they have the migrants. We know we've talked about it a little bit, and I hate when we have to bring this up, but I have to bring it up because this Maui situation is insane. It's really insane that, you know, you think you're in Hawaii, you're over there, and there'll be the volcanoes that cause this kind of catastrophe, but it's Mother Nature that just comes out of the blue, and this madness just comes out and about. But, you know, Hawaii linked up, you know, the U.S., man. Like, you're supposed to look out for Hawaii, you know? And, but everywhere else, it's we got a lot to think about come election year, okay? Come election year, we got a lot to think about. I'm just going to say that. As far as this situation goes, it gives me more to think about come election year, you know? Yeah, that. But I was meaning to talk about the Row. Remember I sent y'all guys a little link? I sent y'all guys a little while ago about that.
Yes.
I managed to pass by this place. Yo, I'm going to tell you something.
Go ahead.
If you are a New Yorker and you happen to pass by this place, you're going to want to fight everybody you see around there. I'm going to tell you straight up. You're going to want to fight each and every one of these people out there. Yo, you got to pray. You got to pray for the employees, the people who live there.
Yes.
Yo, it's madness. It is madness. Yo, we talking about there are people who are residing over there who are scared for their own lives about being over there.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the other residents.
Yeah, it's not a good look.
Yo, people, you got young kids turned up over there.
You got
Yo, folks got to maintain the place make sure it's clean. Other businesses have had to close early or close down because they're getting robbed. Yo, they're getting looted. Yo,
I will tell you this.
we're in the upside down right now. The world's in the upside down.
I went last month, I went on vacation.
Yeah.
Before going to vacation, I sent you, Tony, and Brian, because we're on a iMessage thread.
Yes, sir.
I went into Target in Westbury, New York, and I mean, almost everything was locked up. And I was just looking around like, when did this happen? T-shirts, you want to get, white tees, boxers, briefs.
Yeah.
Everything's locked up in a case.
Yeah.
I went to local Walgreens. Deodorant locked up.
The CVS right here in my neighborhood, a few blocks from where I'm at. The baby stuff is locked up. The cough medicine and stuff is locked up. Energy drinks and whatnot are locked up. The ice cream section is locked up, man. Come on, man.
What is going on?
I can't get me a pint of Talenti. I can't get my gelato. Come on, man.
What are we doing right now?
Yes, it's true. And it's in a lot of places. People are not playing no more, man.
And all that stuff on social media we see, and people walking in with garbage cans and just knocking everything over into the garbage can and then walking out the place, and no one, I'm like, and initially I said, no, this is performative. That's right there. It's just, for viral clicks and everything like that. Everything is locked up. And I'm just like, when did this happen?
Yeah, you gotta ask somebody.
And Rick says, do you really want to ask someone to unlock all the various items for you? It's inconvenient. One night.
Yeah, you gotta know.
Rick, I'm gonna tell you this much. One night, my wife wasn't feeling well, so we didn't know. I wasn't sure, and I went to go pick up some Theraflu. Of course, the Theraflu was locked up. So there was like maybe 4 people in the store. It was me, it was the security guard, and it was 2 cashiers. And okay, 5. There was a person in the pharmacy. So I had to ring the bell, have them come over, unlock the Theraflu, and I took a look at it and handed it back to the security guy. I said, do you want to take it up to the front? I'm like, I don't even know how this works. And the gentleman said, no, you take it up. So he locked the shelf back up, the cabinet back up. And that's when I said, oh, wait, I want to go pick up some deodorant. I went 3 aisles over and that was locked up. And I was like, I felt a certain way because I didn't want to ring the bell again for the same security guard to come back. And I was just like, okay, I guess I'm just going to be funky at work tomorrow,
Oh my God. Yeah, you don't feel like bothering those people because you got to keep calling back and forth. And then you get like 3-4 people buzzing on a different aisle, and now they got to zigzag through the aisles to go get what they got to do. Yeah, it's stressful, man. It's stressful as hell.
Crazy.
Yeah. Whether it's CVS or Walgreens, Rite Aid, any of them places. The Target especially. Oh my God.
It's
and Targets is one of those places that get ransacked like crazy.
Yes.
It used to get ransacked crazy. Once all this madness started happening, that's when all these insane like looting situations started happening.
I'm reading this book. I just started reading this book. The Fourth Wall, the fourth turning is here. It just talks about stuff that we're seeing. There's been, various iterations of this book. I'm reading the latest iteration of the book.
I was an unlocker. Yo, Rick is crazy. Yeah. Oh my god.
It's but that's where we are.
Oh my god.
We
I was an unlocker. Yo, can you imagine that? Getting paid $16 an hour. All you gotta do is unlock log.
Just unlock stuff.
Yo, let's go.
No, it's crazy. It's
Yo,
crazy.
it's a trip. It's a trip, Rick, and it's true, man. There was even this video that popped up on Twitter the other day because I refused to call it the other name. It was on Twitter the other day, and it was this girl, like a girl. She had like a flash mob, I guess, and they were dancing in a Target. And the security guard called. I guess he called for police to get them out, whatever, to get them out. And I guess homegirl posted the video and thought she was gonna get replies that were supporting her, whatever. I'm like, nah, you can't do that. And people saying that you can't do that. You can't just walk into a store and flash mob dance up in the store like that. Yo, it's 2023. We don't got time for that. We're gonna pay attention to all you. It's like about 8 of y'all coming into the store here, and we gotta stop you while somebody else could be doing God knows what in some other aisle. Nah, we don't have time for that.
Nope.
We don't have time for that. I'm telling you, people paying attention. Everywhere else, people are looting, and they paid big eyes to what happened in Chicago, man.
Yep.
Where Chicago got ransacked.
Yep.
So much so that businesses up and left. Nah, man. People are not doing this no more. As much as they care for the business, they're not going to lose out.
No.
They're not losing out money. No.
Mr. B, man, this has been a blast. We can go on for days. We'll be back next week. But I look forward to your commentary this weekend on Combat Sports on the OK Live app.
Yes, sir.
But I do want to ask, if you want to follow you on social media, what do we do?
Wow. Mr. Tony. You can find me on Twitter. I'm on Twitter because I'm not calling it the other name. New Year, same B at Mr. B 1986. I retweet and tweet stuff. Tweet fight info and random topics. You could DM me over there, ask me a question, or just say, yo, what's up, man? And I got OK Live, man. It's an app. It's a international app. Not many English speakers there, but I got an English crowd out there. But yeah, I'm there whenever you need to watch fights or whatever. Watch them. I'm there to do commentary and conversate and answer questions and all that fun stuff. But it's OK Live, Mr. B, the same name. And then I show up on whoever's streaming. If they say, hey, bro, you got time? I say, sure, yeah. And then we get on, and that's that, man.
Got it. Want to thank Rick, Carmen, of course, Brian,
Mr. West is up in here. Yeah, I'm going to catch him tomorrow.
Tony, Nonsensical Nonsense, the Glickster, and a whole host of others.
Yes, indeed.
Mr. B, definitely want to thank you for holding it down this week.
Yeah, no problem, man.
No Brian, no Tony, no problem. But you can catch me on. That's the best part.
Right.
The best part.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I think we're out. All right, thanks.
All right, then, guys. Good night.